Admiral Daewon Kim stood in the center of the Galactic Council chamber and tried not to look impressed. The chamber was enormous, bigger than any building he had ever seen on Earth. It floated in space, orbiting two bright stars that filled the room with golden light. Around him sat representatives from 247 different alien species. Some looked like insects, others like clouds of gas, and some had shapes that hurt his eyes to look at directly. He was 52 years old and had commanded Earth's military forces for the last decade. He had seen war, peace, and everything in between, but nothing had prepared him for this moment. Humanity had discovered faster-than-light travel only 3 months ago. Now Earth wanted to join this galactic community. The problem was that nobody here seemed to take them seriously. High Arbiter Velthar sat on the highest seat in the chamber. He was old, so old that his insect-like body had turned gray with age. His 4 eyes watched Daewon with something that looked like amusement. When he spoke, his voice came through, a translator device that made it sound cold and mechanical. "So the humans want to join the council," Velthar said. Laughter rippled through the chamber. "You achieved faster-than-light travel 3 months ago. Most species take centuries to develop this technology. We have been traveling between stars for thousands of years." Daewon kept his face neutral. He had expected this reaction. Earth was new, unknown, and small compared to these ancient civilizations. But that was exactly why he was here. "We may be new to space travel," Daewon replied calmly, "but humanity has much to offer. We have survived on a single planet for our entire history. We know how to adapt. We know how to overcome challenges. We would be valuable members of this council." More laughter. A representative that looked like a floating jellyfish spoke up. "Valuable? You barely have 10 ships capable of leaving your solar system. The weakest member of this council commands a fleet of 5,000 vessels. What could you possibly offer us?" Daewon felt anger rise in his chest but pushed it down. Getting emotional would not help. These beings thought Earth was primitive, helpless, and weak. Let them think that. It would make what came next more satisfying. High Arbiter Velthar raised one of his clawed hands. The chamber fell silent. "There is a way for your species to prove their worth. We call it the Trial of Strength. No species has joined this council without passing it. The trial is simple. You must defend something against our military forces. If you succeed, we will consider your application." Daewon listened carefully. This sounded like a trap, but it was also an opportunity. "What are the terms of this trial?" Velthar's mandibles clicked together in what might have been a smile. "You have a mining colony on a moon called Kepler 442b. Our enforcement fleet will attack it. You must defend the colony for as long as you can. Most species last about 3 of your weeks before surrendering. If you last even 1 week, we will be impressed." The chamber filled with conversation. Many of the representatives seemed excited by this idea. Daewon understood why. They wanted entertainment. They wanted to see the primitive humans get crushed by superior technology. It would remind them of their own power. Another alien spoke up. This one was tall and covered in blue scales. "I command the Kreth Empire's 3rd Fleet, 50 warships under my control. Give me permission, High Arbiter, and I will teach these humans their place. Commander Brixnall, at your service." Brixnall looked at Daewon with obvious contempt. The alien commander was confident, even arrogant. He had probably fought hundreds of battles and never lost. Daewon made a mental note of that confidence. Arrogance was a weakness. "How many ships do you have at this colony?" Velthar asked. 12, Daewon answered honestly. "Small vessels mostly for defense and transport." The chamber erupted in laughter again. 12 ships against 50. It was not even a fair fight. Several representatives started placing bets on how quickly humanity would surrender. Some said hours. Others said minutes. High Arbiter Velthar raised his hand for silence again. "The trial will begin at dawn tomorrow. That gives you 12 of your hours to prepare. Do you accept these terms, Admiral Daewon Kim of Earth?" Daewon looked around the chamber. Every eye, whether it had 2 eyes or 20, was on him. They expected him to ask for better terms. They expected him to beg for more time or more ships. They expected fear. Instead, Daewon smiled. It was not a friendly smile. It was the smile of a man who knew something nobody else did. I accept your terms completely. 50 ships against 12. Tomorrow at dawn. We will be ready. The confidence in his voice surprised them. Velthar leaned forward on his throne. You seem very certain, Admiral. Do you not understand what you face? Commander Brixnell's fleet has conquered 17 star systems. His ships are equipped with the finest weapons in the galaxy. Your vessels are primitive by our standards. I understand perfectly, Daewon replied. 50 advanced warships against 12 human ships. Those are your terms, and I accept them. We will see you tomorrow. He turned and walked toward the exit. Behind him, the chamber buzzed with conversation. They thought he was either brave or stupid. Let them think whatever they wanted. By tomorrow evening, they would understand the truth about humanity. As soon as Daewon left the chamber, he activated his communication device. 2 faces appeared on the small holographic screen. One was Captain Hai-Jin Park, commander of humanity's newest warship. She was 34 years old with sharp eyes that missed nothing. The other face belonged to Dr. Sung-Min Lee, head of Earth's Weapons Research Division. He looked tired but alert. They took the bait, Daewon said quietly. 50 ships against our 12. They think it will be easy. Captain Park's face showed a slight smile. When do we show them the truth? Tomorrow at dawn. Dr. Lee, is everything ready? The scientist nodded. The quantum disruption system is fully operational. The electromagnetic pulse missiles are loaded. All 12 ships have been upgraded. We are ready, Admiral. Daewon felt a surge of pride. Humanity had spent 3 months preparing for this moment. Not 3 months learning to travel between stars. 3 months preparing for war. Because that was what humans did best. They prepared. They adapted. They survived. Activate Protocol Prometheus, Daewon ordered. Show them what humanity really is. Show them why it took us so long to reach the stars. We were busy perfecting everything else. Captain Park saluted. It will be my pleasure, sir. These aliens are about to learn that humans do not lose. The transmission ended. Daewon walked through the corridors of the space station that housed the Galactic Council. Other species moved past him, paying him no attention. They saw a representative of a primitive species, weak and insignificant. Tomorrow they would see something different. Tomorrow they would see what humanity had been hiding. For centuries, Earth had fought wars among themselves, terrible wars that pushed technology and tactics to their limits. While other species explored the galaxy in peace, humanity learned how to win against impossible odds. Now all that knowledge, all that experience, all those hard-learned lessons would be put to use. The Galactic Council wanted a demonstration of strength. They wanted to see what humanity could do. They were about to get exactly what they asked for, and Daewon suspected they would regret it. Captain Hai-Jin Park stood on the bridge of the ESS Indomitable and watched the stars through the main viewport. The ship was humanity's newest warship, built in secret over the past 3 months. From the outside, it looked small and unremarkable. That was intentional. Nobody needed to know what it could really do until the time was right. Around her, the crew worked at their stations. Lieutenant Bo Young Choi sat at the weapons console, her fingers moving quickly across the controls. She was 28 years old and had been with Park since the beginning. Young but incredibly talented. Engineer Tae Yang Song monitored the ship's systems from his station. He was 35 and had helped design many of the upgrades that made this ship special. The Indomitable floated near Kepler 442b, a small rocky moon where humanity had established a mining colony 6 weeks ago. 11 other human ships were positioned around the moon in defensive formation. They looked tiny compared to what was coming. On the edge of the solar system, 50 Kreth warships had just arrived. Park could see them on her sensors. Each Kreth ship was 5 times larger than the Indomitable. Their weapons could destroy a city with a single shot. Their shields could withstand attacks that would vaporize human vessels. At least that was what the Kreth believed. Captain, we are receiving a transmission from the Galactic Council, Lieutenant Choi reported. They want to observe the battle. Put it on screen, Park ordered. A holographic image appeared showing the Galactic Council chamber. Hundreds of alien species watched with interest. Park could see High Arbiter Velthar sitting on his throne looking bored. Many of the representatives were placing bets. She heard numbers being called out. 30 minutes, 20 minutes. Some even bet that humanity would surrender before the first shot was fired. Park smiled to herself. Let them bet. Let them think this would be easy. The surprise would be more satisfying. Commander Brixnall's face appeared on another screen. The blue-scaled alien looked confident, almost smug. Human ships, this is Commander Brixnall of the Kreth Empire. You have one chance to surrender peacefully. Abandon your colony and retreat to your home world. If you do this now, no one will be harmed. Park activated her communication system. This is Captain Hyjin Park of Earth's Unified Defense Fleet. We decline your generous offer. This colony is under our protection. If you want it, you will have to take it. Brixnall's eyes widened slightly. He had not expected defiance. You have 12 small ships. I have 50 warships equipped with weapons you cannot imagine. This is not bravery, Captain. This is stupidity. Perhaps, Park replied calmly. But humans have a saying. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. I look forward to testing that theory. She cut the transmission before Brixnall could respond. In the council chamber, she heard surprised murmurs. They had not expected such confidence from the humans. Park turned to her crew. All stations report readiness. Weapons ready, Captain, Lieutenant Choi said. Her voice was steady despite the nervous energy Park could sense. Quantum disruption system is fully charged. Railguns loaded, electromagnetic pulse missiles armed. Engineering reports all systems operating at peak efficiency, Engineer Song added. The modifications Dr. Lee designed are working perfectly. We are ready. Park opened a channel to the other 11 human ships. All vessels, this is Park. Remember your training. Stay coordinated. Trust your equipment. And most importantly, show these aliens what humans can do when they are pushed. 11 captains acknowledged her orders. Park felt a surge of pride. These were good people, brave people. They knew the odds. They knew what they faced. And they were ready anyway because that was what humans did. They faced impossible situations and found ways to win. The Kreth fleet began moving forward. Their formation was textbook perfect, exactly what military academies taught. A hammer and anvil approach designed to crush the enemy between two overwhelming forces. It was effective against conventional opponents, but humans were not conventional. Captain, they are charging weapons, Choi reported. Plasma cannons warming up. They will be in firing range in 3 minutes. Park watched the Kreth ships approach. They moved slowly, confidently. Why rush? They had overwhelming superiority. Or so they thought. In the council chamber, High Arbiter Velthar leaned forward slightly. The humans are not retreating. Interesting. Perhaps they have more courage than I expected. It will not save them, but courage is admirable. Several representatives laughed. One of them, a being made of crystalline structures, spoke up. I bet 50 credits they last less than 10 minutes. Another alien, this one covered in purple fur, shook its head. Too generous. I say 5 minutes. Look at their ships. They are so small. One good hit and they will be destroyed. Back on the Indomitable's bridge, Engineer Song checked his instruments one final time. Captain, all ships report ready. The quantum disruption field is synchronized across the fleet. On your command. Park took a deep breath. This was the moment. Everything humanity had prepared for came down to the next few hours. She thought about Earth, about the billions of people watching from home. She thought about all the wars humanity had fought, all the lessons learned through blood and sacrifice. She thought about her training, her crew, and her duty. Then she thought about Admiral Daewon's words before they left Earth. Show them what we are. Show them that humans do not break. Show them that we are not prey. All ships, Park said clearly. Weapons free. Engage at will. And remember, make every shot count. Let us teach these aliens why humans survived on Earth for so long. We are predators, not prey. The Kreth fleet opened fire first. 50 ships unleashed a storm of plasma bolts that lit up the darkness of space. The blasts were powerful enough to destroy small moons. They streaked toward the human formation like falling stars, but the human ships were not there anymore. They moved with speed that shocked the Kreth. The small vessels dodged and weaved through the plasma fire with precision that seemed impossible. Their engines were more powerful than they appeared. Their maneuvering systems were more advanced than anyone expected. In the council chamber, the laughter stopped. Several representatives sat up straighter, paying closer attention. How were the human ships moving so fast? Interesting, Velthar muttered. They have better engines than our intelligence reported. Still, it will not be enough. Shields and weapons matter more than speed. On the Indomitable, Park smiled. Now, Lieutenant Choi, show them what we brought. Choi's fingers danced across her console. Quantum disruption system firing. All ships synchronized. 12 human ships released a pulse of energy that human scientists had been perfecting for decades. It was invisible, undetectable by conventional sensors. It washed over the Kreth fleet like a wave. And then something happened that no one in the Galactic Council had ever seen before. The Kreth shields simply stopped working. Not damaged, not overloaded. They just stopped as if they had never existed. 50 advanced warships suddenly found themselves naked and vulnerable in the middle of a battle. Commander Brixnall stared at his control panel in disbelief. What, how?
Shields are offline.
All ships, shields are offline. This is impossible. Park's voice came through clearly on all channels. Nothing is impossible, Commander. You just have not seen it before. Now let me show you what human weapons can do. Railguns fire, Park ordered. The human ships opened fire with weapons that did not use energy or plasma. They used solid metal projectiles accelerated to incredible speeds. Simple technology, but devastatingly effective against unshielded targets. The Galactic Council watched in stunned silence as human railgun rounds tore through Kreth armor like paper. Explosions bloomed across the enemy fleet. Ships that had seemed invincible moments ago were now crippled and burning. High Arbiter Velthar stood up from his throne. What is happening? How did they disable the shields? No one had an answer. They could only watch as humanity showed them something they had never imagined. The primitive species from Earth was winning. The first hour of battle had changed everything. What was supposed to be an easy demonstration of Galactic Council power had turned into a nightmare for Commander Brixnall. 15 of his 50 warships were now disabled or destroyed. 15 ships that had conquered star systems were now floating debris or limping away with critical damage. And the human fleet had not lost a single vessel. On the bridge of his flagship, Brixnall shouted orders at his crew. His blue scales had turned pale with stress. Get those shields back online. I do not care how you do it, just do it. And find out what weapon they used. His chief engineer looked terrified. Commander, the shields are not damaged. They are just not working. It is as if something is preventing them from forming. We have never seen anything like this technology. Impossible, Brixnall hissed. Humans only discovered faster than light travel 3 months ago. They cannot have weapons more advanced than ours. They cannot! But they did. And Brixnall was learning that the hard way. In the Galactic Council chamber, chaos had replaced the earlier amusement. Representatives shouted questions at each other. Some demanded to know how humans had developed such technology. Others wanted to stop the trial immediately. A few quietly recalculated their earlier dismissal of humanity. High Arbiter Velthar remained seated, but his 4 eyes were fixed on the holographic display showing the battle. Admiral Dewan, he said slowly. What weapon is this? Our scientists have been studying shield technology for 10,000 years. How did your species develop something that can simply turn shields off? Admiral Dewan sat calmly in his seat, watching the battle with satisfaction. We call it a quantum disruption field. It interferes with the quantum states that your shields rely on. As for how we developed it, the answer is simple. We needed it. Needed it? For what? A representative asked. Dewan turned to look at the speaker. For war. Humans have been fighting each other for our entire history. Every generation we developed new weapons. Every generation we developed new defenses. When shields were invented on Earth, we immediately started working on ways to defeat them. That was 200 years ago. We have been perfecting the technology ever since. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity had not been peaceful. They had been practicing. On the battlefield, Captain Park pressed her advantage. All ships execute pattern Delta, split into 3 groups. We are going to divide their fleet and take them apart piece by piece. The 12 human ships separated into 3 groups of 4. They moved with precise coordination, each group targeting a different section of the Kreth fleet. The aliens tried to respond, but their formation was already broken. Panic had replaced discipline. Lieutenant Choi targeted another Kreth warship. Captain, enemy vessel on screen 3 is trying to retreat. Should I pursue? Negative, Park replied. Let them go. Focus on the ones still fighting. We are here to prove a point, not commit massacre. Disable their weapons and engines. Leave them floating but alive. Choi adjusted her targeting. The railguns fired again. Precise shots that destroyed weapon systems without killing the crew. It was surgical, professional, and terrifying to watch. The humans were not just winning. They were choosing how much they won by the engineer Song monitored the quantum disruption field. Captain, the field is holding steady. We can maintain it for another 6 hours at least. Their shields will not be coming back anytime soon. Excellent work, Park said. Keep monitoring it. And prepare the electromagnetic pulse missiles. I suspect Commander Brixnell will try something desperate soon. She was right. Brixnell ordered his remaining ships to execute a desperate charge. If they could not rely on shields, they would overwhelm the humans with numbers. It was a tactic from ancient warfare, before technology made battles more sophisticated. 35 Kreth warships, all that remained combat-capable, accelerated toward the human positions. Their weapons blazed, firing everything they had. Plasma bolts, missiles, energy beams. The space between the two fleets lit up like a sun. Park watched calmly. All ships, evasive pattern Gamma. Use the asteroid field to our advantage. The human ships dove toward a nearby cluster of asteroids. The Kreth followed, driven by anger and desperation. But humans had something the Kreth did not. They had experience fighting in difficult terrain. Earth's history was full of battles fought in mountains, jungles, cities, and storms. Humanity had learned long ago that the environment was a weapon. Now they proved it again in space. The human ships wove between asteroids with perfect precision. Their pilots knew exactly how much clearance they had, exactly how fast they could go. The Kreth ships, larger and less maneuverable, struggled to keep up. Several collided with asteroids, adding to their losses, and then Park sprang her trap. Now, Song, activate the mines. Engineer Song pressed a button. Throughout the asteroid field, dozens of small devices that had been placed hours earlier came to life. They were magnetic mines, simple but effective. They locked onto the Kreth ship's metal hulls and detonated. The explosions were not large enough to destroy the warships outright. They did not need to be. They damaged engines, destroyed sensor arrays, and crippled navigation systems. 20 more Kreth vessels found themselves disabled, drifting among the asteroids with no way to maneuver. Commander Brixnell realized too late that he had led his fleet into an ambush. The humans had not been running. They had been hurting the Kreth exactly where they wanted them. Retreat, Brixnell ordered. All ships, retreat to minimum safe distance. The surviving Kreth ships tried to pull back. Only 15 were still combat-capable. 15 out of 50. In less than 2 hours, the humans had reduced a superior force by 70%. Park opened a channel to the Kreth flagship. Commander Brixnell, this is your last warning. Surrender now and I will guarantee the safety of your crews. Continue fighting and I will be forced to use harsher measures. You have seen what our basic weapons can do. Trust me when I say we have not shown you everything yet. Brixnell wanted to refuse. His pride demanded it, but he was also a military commander, and military commanders had a duty to their soldiers. He looked at his control panel. 15 ships, so many lost, and the human fleet still had not taken any significant damage. How? He asked quietly. How are you doing this? You are supposed to be primitive. You are supposed to be weak. Park's voice was not unkind. We are not primitive, Commander. We are focused. While your species and others explored the galaxy in peace, humanity stayed on one planet and learned how to survive. We became very, very good at war because we had no choice. Now you see the result. In the council chamber, Admiral Daewon stood up. High Arbiter Velthar, I believe we have proven our point. We can defend ourselves. We can contribute to galactic security, and we can be valuable allies. The question is, will the council accept this proof? Velthar looked at the tactical display. 3 hours had passed since the battle began. The council had expected humanity to surrender by now. Instead, they had achieved a victory that seemed impossible. The trial is not yet complete, Velthar said slowly. But I admit that humanity has surprised us. Admiral Daewon, where did your species learn such tactics? Daewon smiled grimly. From necessity. From survival. From 10,000 years of fighting ourselves. We learned that size does not guarantee victory. We learned that technology must serve strategy. Most importantly, we learned that humans never ever give up. On the battlefield, the timer continued counting. 3 hours and 15 minutes. The Galactic Council was about to learn something important about humanity. When humans made a promise, they kept it, and Captain Park had promised to defend Kepler 442b. The battle was not over yet, but everyone watching knew how it would end. Hour 4 began with Commander Brixnall making a difficult choice. His pride wanted to continue fighting, but his duty to his crew demanded surrender. 15 ships remained under his command. 15 ships against 12 human vessels that had already proven themselves superior in every way. But pride was a powerful thing, especially for a commander who had never lost a battle. Brixnall decided to try one final strategy. If human shields could not be disrupted like Kreth shields, perhaps overwhelming firepower would work. He ordered his 15 remaining ships into a tight formation. All weapons concentrate fire on the human flagship, Brixnall commanded. If we destroy their leader, perhaps the others will break formation. 15 warships opened fire simultaneously. Every weapon they had targeted the ESS Indomitable. The combined firepower could have destroyed a small moon. Energy beams, plasma bolts, and missiles streaked through space toward Captain Park's ship. On the Indomitable's bridge, alarms blared. Lieutenant Choi called out, "Captain, multiple weapons lock. All enemy ships are targeting us." Park remained calm. Song, activate point defense systems. Choi, return fire on their lead ship. All other vessels maintain position and continue your assigned targets. The Indomitable's automated defense systems came to life. Dozens of small railguns tracked incoming projectiles and destroyed them. Missiles were shot down before they could reach the ship. Energy beams were deflected by angled armor plates designed specifically for this purpose. Humans had learned something important during their wars on Earth. Defense was not about having the strongest shield. It was about not getting hit in the first place, and if you did get hit, it was about making sure the hit was not fatal. The Indomitable took some damage. Armor plating scorched. A few systems went offline, but the ship remained operational. Meanwhile, the human return fire was devastatingly accurate. Lieutenant Choi fired the electromagnetic pulse missiles that Engineer Song had mentioned earlier. These were weapons the Galactic Council had never seen before. They did not explode with fire or force. Instead, they released a powerful electromagnetic pulse that fried electronic systems. The missiles struck 3 Kreth ships. Instantly, their navigation systems failed. Their weapons stopped working. Their communication went dead. The ships were still intact, but they were floating blind and helpless in space. In the council chamber, representatives watched in growing horror. Some species had electromagnetic pulse weapons, but nothing this powerful or precise. The human version seemed specifically designed to disable ships without destroying them. A representative that looked like a floating jellyfish spoke up. "High Arbiter, we must stop this trial. The humans are demonstrating weapons technology that could threaten the entire council. This is dangerous." Admiral Daewon turned to face the speaker. "Dangerous? We are defending a colony against an attack you ordered. We are using weapons we developed for our own defense. If you find that threatening, perhaps you should reconsider sending fleets to attack species you know nothing about." His words hung in the air. The representatives realized they had made a mistake. They had assumed humanity was weak because they were new to space travel. They had not considered that a species confined to one planet for millennia might have become very, very good at fighting. Back at Kepler 442b, Captain Park opened a channel to all ships, human and Kreth alike. "Commander Brixnall, you have fought bravely. Your crews have fought bravely. But this battle is over. You have 12 functional ships remaining. 12 against 12. But you have no shields, damaged systems, and we still have weapons you have not seen. Please surrender. There is no shame in acknowledging a superior force. There is only shame in wasting lives for pride." Brixnall looked at his tactical display. She was right. 12 ships remained, and most of those were damaged. His crew was exhausted. His systems were failing, and the humans had been holding back. That was the terrifying part. After 4 hours of combat, they still claimed to have unused weapons. He made his decision. "All Kreth ships, cease fire. I repeat, cease fire. We surrender to the human forces." The words were bitter, but they were necessary. Brixnall had never surrendered before. He had conquered 17 star systems. He had fought hundreds of battles. And now he was surrendering to a species that had been in space for less than 4 months. The Galactic Council chamber erupted in shocked conversation. High Arbiter Velthar stood up from his throne. The battle has lasted 4 hours and 37 minutes. The trial required humanity to last at least 1 week. Instead, they have achieved total victory in less than 5 hours. Captain Park's voice came through clearly. Commander Brixenall, your surrender is accepted. Please stand down all remaining weapons. My ships will approach yours to provide medical assistance and temporary repairs. Your crews will be treated with respect and dignity. Brixenall was surprised by this. You will help us? After we attacked you? Yes, Park replied. The battle is over. You surrendered honorably. Now you are not enemies. You are defeated opponents, and humanity has rules about how to treat defeated opponents. We will ensure your crews are safe until proper rescue can arrive. This confused Brixenall. The Kreth Empire did not usually show such mercy. Defeated enemies were prisoners at best. Why would you do this? Engineer Song, who had been listening, spoke up. Because we have learned that making enemies is easy. Making friends is hard. We would rather have friends, even if they started as enemies. Human ships moved toward the disabled Kreth vessels. Medical teams prepared to board and help injured aliens. Engineering crews brought spare parts and tools. It was a strange sight. Hours ago, these ships had been trying to destroy each other. Now humans were offering help. In the council chamber, Admiral Day-Wan addressed the assembly. High Arbiter, members of the council, you gave humanity a trial. You wanted us to prove our strength. I believe we have done so. 4 hours and 42 minutes. That is how long it took. He paused, letting the number sink in. The fastest anyone had completed the trial before was 3 weeks. Humanity had done it in a fraction of a single day. But I want to make something clear, Day-Wan continued. We did not do this to threaten you. We did not do this to show off. We did this because you asked us to prove ourselves. We are showing you who we are. We are survivors. We are innovators. We are warriors when we need to be. But most importantly, we are ready to be partners. Dr. Sung-Min Lee appeared on another screen. He had been watching from Earth's research facility. If I may add something, High Arbiter, the technology we use today is only a small portion of what humanity has developed. We are willing to share some of this technology with council members. Medical advances, agricultural improvements, defensive systems. We believe cooperation benefits everyone. Several representatives perked up at this. Technology sharing was valuable. If humans had developed quantum disruption fields and electromagnetic pulse weapons, what else did they have? Velthar sat back down slowly. His 4 eyes studied Admiral Day-Wan carefully. You planned this from the beginning. You knew we would underestimate you. You knew we would give you this trial. And you prepared to show us exactly what humanity could do. Day-Wan smiled slightly. Yes, we prepared. That is what humans do. We prepare for every possibility. We plan for every outcome. And when the time comes, we execute those plans perfectly. You could have destroyed the entire Kreth fleet, Velthar observed. But you chose not to. You disabled ships instead of destroying them. You offered medical aid instead of taking prisoners. Why? Because, Day-Wan replied, humans learned a long time ago that how you win is just as important as winning. We could have killed everyone out there. But what would that prove? That we are good at killing? We already know that. We wanted to prove we are good at much more than just fighting. The council chamber fell silent. They were beginning to understand. Humanity was not just militarily powerful. They were strategically sophisticated. They understood that respect was earned not just through strength, but through wisdom. Captain Park's final report came through. Admiral, all Kreth vessels are secured. Medical teams are aboard. No human casualties. Minimal damage to our ships. The colony at Kepler 442b is completely secure. Mission accomplished, sir. Day-Wan nodded with satisfaction. Excellent work, Captain. Bring your fleet home. He turned back to the council. 4 hours and 53 minutes. That is how long it took humanity to prove itself. I hope that is sufficient. The Galactic Council chamber remained silent for a long moment after the battle ended. 247 species had gathered to watch humanity fail. Instead, they had witnessed something none of them expected. A new species, barely capable of space travel, had defeated one of the Council's most powerful military forces in less than 5 hours. High Arbiter Velthar finally spoke. His voice was quieter than before, thoughtful rather than dismissive. Admiral Day-Wan Kim of Earth, the Galactic Council acknowledges that humanity has passed the trial of strength. More than passed. You have achieved something unprecedented. In the entire history of this council, no species has ever completed the trial in less than 5 hours. Day 1 remained standing, his posture relaxed but alert. We did what was necessary. Nothing more, nothing less, nothing more. A representative that looked like a collection of floating rocks spoke up. You demonstrated technology that none of us possess. You defeated 50 warships with 12. You showed tactical sophistication that rivals species who have been fighting wars for millennia. This is not just passing a test. This is announcing your arrival as a major power. Other representatives murmured agreement. Fear and respect mixed in their voices. Humanity had changed the calculation. The galaxy had a new player, and that player had teeth. Day 1 looked around the chamber. If I may speak plainly, High Arbiter, humanity did not ask for this trial. You offered it because you doubted us. You thought we were weak because we are new. You wanted to put us in our place. Well, now you know our place. We are survivors. We are innovators. And we are not to be dismissed or underestimated. His words were direct but not hostile. He was stating facts, not making threats. Velthar nodded slowly. You are correct. We underestimated you. That was our mistake. A mistake I do not intend to repeat. The question now is what comes next. You have proven you can defend yourselves. But the Galactic Council is about more than military strength. It is about cooperation, trade, shared knowledge, and peace. That is exactly what Earth wants, Day 1 replied. We do not seek conflict. We seek partnership. We want to trade with other species. We want to learn from them. We want to contribute to galactic civilization. But we will not do it from a position of weakness. We will not bow to threats. We will not be anyone's servants. Dr. Sungmin Lee's image appeared on the main display. He held up a data device. High Arbiter, if I may. I have prepared information packets about several human technologies that we are willing to share with council members. Medical treatments for various common diseases. Agricultural techniques that increase crop yields. Water purification systems. And yes, some defensive technologies as well. Several representatives leaned forward with interest. Technology was valuable. If humans had developed weapons this advanced, their other technologies might be equally impressive. A crystalline being spoke up. What do you want in return for this technology? Day 1 smiled. Fair trade. Access to galactic markets. Permission to establish diplomatic missions on council worlds. Standard membership rights. We are not asking for special treatment. We are asking to be treated as equals. Velthar looked at the other representatives. Many of them nodded. After what they had witnessed, denying humanity membership would be foolish and dangerous. Better to have them inside the council than outside it. Very well, Velthar announced. The Galactic Council formally welcomes humanity as a full member with all rights and privileges. Your representative will have voting rights on all council matters. Your ships will have free passage through council space. And we will establish formal diplomatic and trade relations with Earth immediately. The chamber filled with applause. Some of it was genuine. Some was nervous. But all of it acknowledged what had happened today. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage not as supplicants begging for acceptance, but as equals demanding respect. Day 1 bowed slightly. On behalf of Earth and all humanity, I thank the Council for this honor. We look forward to working with you all. As the formal session ended, various representatives approached Day 1. Some wanted to discuss trade agreements. Others wanted to learn more about human technology. A few wanted to arrange military training exchanges. Everyone wanted to understand this new species better. Commander Brixnell's face appeared on a private channel. He looked tired and humbled. Admiral Day 1, I wanted to thank you personally. Your Captain Park kept her word. Your medical team saved many of my crew. Your engineers helped repair our ships. This is not how I expected today to end. Day 1 nodded respectfully. Commander, you fought bravely with the information you had. There is no shame in that. I hope that in the future our species can work together rather than against each other. Brixnell was quiet for a moment. I would like to request something. Would Earth be willing to accept Kreth officers for military training?
I have learned today that we have much to learn from you. This surprised Day 1, but pleasantly.
I will discuss it with our military academy. I think we can arrange something. Learning from each other benefits everyone. Back at Kepler 442b, Captain Park stood on the bridge of the Indomitable and watched the stars. Lieutenant Choi and Engineer Song stood beside her. The battle was over. The colony was safe, and humanity had announced itself to the galaxy. Captain, Choi said quietly. Do you think they will respect us now? Park considered the question. Some will respect us. Some will fear us. Some will want to be our friends. Some will want to be our enemies. That is how it always is. But they will never underestimate us again. And that is what matters. Song smiled. 5 hours. We proved ourselves in 5 hours. I bet the scientists back home are already working on even better technology. I am sure they are. Park agreed. That is what humans do. We never stop improving. We never stop preparing. Because we know that the galaxy is a big place and there are probably things out there even more dangerous than the Kreth Empire. She turned to her crew. But today we can be proud. We showed the galaxy what humanity is capable of. We showed them that size does not matter as much as skill, that age does not matter as much as innovation, and that being new does not mean being weak. 3 months later, Earth's shipyards were operating at full capacity. New ships were being built, incorporating lessons learned from the battle at Kepler 442b. But these ships were not just for war. Many were designed for exploration, trade, and diplomacy. Captain Hyojin Park received a promotion to Fleet Admiral. She was given command of Earth's expanding space navy. Under her leadership, human ships began patrolling Council space, helping to maintain security alongside other species. Engineer Tae-Yang Song became director of the Galactic Technology Exchange Program. Scientists from 30 different species came to Earth to work with human researchers. Together, they developed new technologies that benefited everyone. Dr. Sungmin Lee's quantum disruption technology remained classified, known only to Earth's military. But he shared dozens of other innovations, medical treatments that saved millions of lives across the galaxy, energy systems that were more efficient than anything previously known, communication technologies that worked across vast distances. Admiral Daewon Kim retired from military service 6 months after the trial. He accepted a position as Earth's permanent ambassador to the Galactic Council. His experience and wisdom helped navigate the complex politics of a civilization spanning thousands of worlds. Commander Brixnall kept his word. He became the first alien to study at Earth's War College. He learned human tactics, strategy, and philosophy of warfare. When he returned to the Kreth Empire, he brought those lessons with him. The Kreth military reformed its training based on what he learned. High Arbiter Velthar, humbled by the events at Kepler 442b, became one of humanity's strongest advocates in the Council. He often told other species the story of the trial, not as a warning but as a lesson. Never judge a species by appearance, never assume that being new means being weak, and never ever underestimate the power of necessity to drive innovation. Earth's economy flourished as trade routes opened across the galaxy. Human art, music, and culture spread to thousands of worlds. Other species were fascinated by humanity's diverse history, their literature, their philosophies developed over millennia of civilization. But humanity never forgot the lesson they had taught the Council. Strength came not from size or age, but from adaptability and determination. Respect was earned through actions, not words. And peace was maintained not through weakness, but through the clear ability to defend oneself if necessary. Years later, when new species discovered faster-than-light travel and petitioned to join the Council, the treatment they received was different. The Council no longer assumed that new meant primitive. They no longer gave impossible trials designed to humiliate. They remembered what happened when they underestimated humanity, and humans continued to do what they did best. They explored. They innovated. They adapted. They made friends and allies across the galaxy. But they also maintained their military, always ready to defend themselves and their allies if necessary. Because that was the truth about humanity that the galaxy learned on that day at Kepler 442b. Humans were not conquerors seeking to dominate. They were not warriors seeking glory.